Hey there! When it comes to credit scores, there's a lot of information to know. A great place to start is to learn about and understand what a FICO score is, what a Vantage score is, and the differences between them. The FICO credit score model is the original and most commonly used scoring model. About 90% of lenders use it for their lending decisions. The Vantage score is a more recent scoring model developed by the three major credit bureaus as a more predictive scoring model. While both scoring models are used to predict a consumer's ability to fulfill payment, they process credit data differently. While both models use proprietary algorithms to create a credit score through credit report data processing, the resulting scores may be different depending on which scoring model you're looking at. Let's look at the differences between VantageScore credit score categories and FICO credit score categories. A Vantage score has 6 factors: payment history, which makes up 40% of the total score; age and type of credit, which makes up 21% of the total score; percentage of credit limit used, and that's 20% of the total score; total balances and debt is 11% of the total score, and recent credit behavior and inquiries is 5% of the total score, and lastly, available credit makes up just 3% of the total score. A FICO score has 5 factors. Payment history is 35% of the total score. Amounts owed is 30%. Length of credit history is 15% of the total score, and new credit and credit mix are both 10% of the total score. For a more comprehensive look into what makes up a credit score, check out our video breaking down the 5 factors. Now you know the general criteria used for both FICO credit score and Vantage score creation. The factors don't seem too different because all the credit information is used for both models, but how each model uses the same data is different for certain factors. The first difference is in trending data. All a credit score does is present a summary of a consumer's credit profile at a specific point in time. The FICO scoring model uses consumer data that's been reported to the credit bureaus at the time of score generation. On the other hand, the Vantage score model prefers to factor data accumulated over time, with up to 2 years' worth of data going into the calculation. Another difference between the models is how length of credit history is processed. Just to have a FICO credit score, you have to have at least one account that has been open for at least 6 months, in addition to one account that has been reported to the credit bureaus in the last 6 months. Vantage score, however, will use data from just 1 month's credit history and only require one account reported in the past 2 years. If you are new to credit, it's more likely that you will have a Vantage score than a FICO score. Credit inquiries are also calculated differently between the scoring models. When a consumer applies for a new line of credit, it is like a double-edged sword. Applying for multiple different lines is a way to compare rates and could help a consumer determine the best deals available. However, applying for too many new lines of credit will rapidly build up inquiries which are harmful to credit scores. The newer FICO scoring models will count multiple credit inquiries of the same type made on the same day as a single inquiry, as long as they are made within a 45-day period. Vantage score is not quite as lenient. Multiple inquiries on a consumer's credit report are likely to have a greater negative impact to a Vantage score than a FICO score. One important thing to remember is that mortgage loan inquiries within a 45-day period are recorded as a single hard inquiry, according to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Last but not least is tax liens and civil judgments. In 2017, public record reporting requirements were implemented, leading to credit bureaus eliminating many tax liens and civil judgments from their consumers' credit reports. While tax liens aren't weighed as heavily now, they can make an impact on both FICO and Vantage score evaluations. While all of this information can seem very overwhelming, it's good to focus on the similarities between FICO and Vantage score rather than the differences. If you're taking care of your credit properly, you should have good scores within both scoring models. Both credit scoring models have evolved over the years since their creation. With these updates, the credit ranges have also changed. Currently, FICO score generates a base score and an industry-specific score. Base scores are created to predict overall debt-paying capability from overall credit profiles, whereas industry-specific scores determine ability to pay off a specific type of debt. FICO's base scores range from 300 to 850, but their industry-specific scores range from 250 to 900. Vantage score only provides base scores, and with their current model, the scores range from 300 to 850 to enable easy comparison between their scores and FICO scores. There are a couple things that will help you when you're trying to find and understand your scores. The first thing that trips up a lot of people is that your credit scores will differ between the 3 major credit reporting bureaus: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Lenders often provide different information to different bureaus at different times, resulting in slight differences. Don't worry though, the differences are not typically large and they should not cause any issues. When applying for anything, it's smart to do your due diligence and find out which scoring model the lender will be using to judge your creditworthiness. Another thing to know is where you can find your scores. You can actually access your scores from multiple different sources, whether it be the credit bureaus, lenders, third-party credit monitoring services, or personal finance websites. Regardless of where you choose to access your credit scores, Knowing what your scores are is a key step on the path to better credit. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing or leave us a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Seriously, please give me a call. I'm lonely.